My background is I'm from South Africa, so that's where my parents were born and bred. They moved me roughly when I was about 4 years old, and
Gotcha.
we did the backdoor entry into Australia via New Zealand.
Perfect.
And so, what was the second part? What am I up to now?
Yeah, correct.
What am I up to now? So we sold the business about 2 years ago. At that time, I was the CEO. I stepped down about last year, July. And so my role now in the business in Domain is probably more of an ambassador role. So I spend a lot of time, I guess, over the 10, 11 years, one, there's high stress, but two, there's a lot of learnings, and so my role now is a lot about how do I help other people. So whether it be mentoring other businesses, whether it be talking on stage, it's all of the the give back, and then of course with that comes a little less pressure. It's a little bit nicer to stand on stage than it is to have their customers call and yell at you.
Gotcha. And I was looking at your background. I think your two brothers were more the technical aspect, and you more had the chat and the more relationship side. How did you apply that to being a CEO? Because CEO often requires quite a bit of structure as well as the relationship side. Was that difficult or?
It's a really interesting one, right? Because when I became the CEO, so at the time of the merger, we only had a team of 40 people. Wow. And we merged with a company that was about 8 times the size of us. And so we went from 40 to 400 overnight. And because I was like the front line from a sales perspective and kind of face of the business, because like you said, I did a lot of chatting. What that meant is that the CEO that approached us to do the merger, he was about double our age, and he said, "Frank, I want you to be the CEO."
Gotcha.
And I was like, "Yeah, cool. I guess that's what I'm doing now." Like it kind of there was probably the right mix of naivety, and so I wouldn't say in any way, shape, or form would I take took on the role of like a traditional CEO because I didn't have that skill set. I was about 27 years old, and so. My thing was I was always in sales, and so the way I thought about it was I was externally selling. Now my role is like internally selling.
For sure.
How do I get the best out of the 400 team members, inspire them the best they can, best they can be, and ultimately try and help drive in the right direction. But there's plenty of learnings around what it actually meant to have that, to have that title.